Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here. Welcome to video number 2 in the second game of East and West. This is going to be a review of the NATO response to the Soviet opener. I think we'll be able to go through this, each of the NATO powers turns fairly quickly, and then we have a fairly interesting Soviet too. So the Western Europeans purchase one spy. We're looking at the top of the map here. One spy for 10 IPCs and 7 infantry, and they save 1. Okay, so 21 add 10, 31, save 1. That makes 32. Combat move. This is fairly unsurprising. The recapture of Yugoslavia. I think that's a fairly standard move. And that's, I think, the only combat move. And we trade pieces. One Western European is traded for the Soviet infantry they're in, and Yugoslavia trades places, so trades back to the Western Europeans. Okay. The non-combat move is a bit nuts, as you can see. But what this appears to be is a relocation of one of the 2 armors in Western Europe to Africa. Looks like the infantry, colonial infantries of Western European origin are moving east in Africa, and then a general re-establishment or establishment in Pakistan. I don't think there's much else that's too interesting to discuss. This transport relocated. I mean, there's a very heavy focus on Pakistan. Definitely. So, placement of its infantry is 5 go into France. 1 goes into Mozambique. 1 into Madagascar. Ostensibly, this is to fill this transport here in a shuck move on the following turn. And the spy drops into the spy box. Okay, yeah. For income, I think it's 24. Yeah, right, 24. Okay, UK1 purchase. We're just going into the next turn here. 5 infantry, 2 transports. No surprise, or no real surprise. I like to stack spies on the first turn, but otherwise no surprise. UK1 combat move. Going for the Soviet Navy. I think that's the right move in general. And they don't make a too good of an account of themselves. I might have a rule going forward. I think that I might just think of the Soviet Navy as inconclusive. Like, the results should not be tabulated until the NATO has taken their first turn. Then you can take a proper look at how well or poorly the Soviet Navy did, because it seems to be pretty consistent that you need to see until the end of the game, or end of the first round. So, during the non-combat move, British units, I guess there's not much to say with regards to Western Europe. Again, there's more of a, it's obvious that the NATO response is focused on Pakistan. These are fairly stock moves. Yeah. Their placement, many pieces dropped in this area of the board. And then 2 transports placed in Quebec. UK collects income, and we go to the US purchase. I believe that the US missed their tech roll. Let's see. Yeah, nothing happened there. Purchases 3 transports and 6 infantry. The combat move is against most of it's against the Pacific Fleet. The results are fairly predictable. So the cruisers get 1 kill between the 2 of them. They defend on a 3, so that's expected. The transports just disappear off the face of the map. There's a lot of movements here in the Pacific. What movements can be made in the Atlantic? None of this is all very shocking. There's a reinforcement into Yugoslavia. Okay. US-1 placement. The 3 transports and the 6 infantry go to the east coast, so it looks like an east coast-centric US player. So at the end of US-1, there's 1 Soviet boat in the Pacific, and then of course we have the Black Sea Fleet, which is protected by Turkey. Okay, and now we go into S2. And first we roll for counterintelligence, and this this kills off the spy. So again, this is a free roll by the Soviets. So when we roll that one, there's only 1 NATO spy. So we just eliminate that. And then our free tech roll at nuke weapons netted a 2, so that's a warm roll, not a complete breakthrough. So we put a Soviet pip or a roundel on the half pip there, the halfway marker to the fission weapons. So 33% chance we pick up fission weapons on the next turn. We would get that breakthrough on a 1 or a 2. Okay, now we have 65 IPCs, and the purchase I'm going to go for is 27 infantry, which brings us up to 54 IPC spent, and we're going to purchase 1 of the 2 Soviet spies that we can build in this game. So let's move to, whoops, my bad. Okay, so that leaves 1 IPC. 64 of 65 spent, and now we go to the combat move. And you know, I have this really complex Soviet strategy that I call Russia Smash. And you just blast everything you can, really. So I'll just start with let's start in the east. It's simpler over here. So we have this fighter in Manchuria. So we'll fly into this Japan Sea Zone and try to blast the submarine. And you know, moving this sub in here doesn't make sense because then we actually give it a target to shoot back at. Let's just move the second fighter down here. So 2 fighters, 75% chance we blast that submarine. Okay, moving on. This bomber is going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have only 1 movement factor left, and we are going to hit Finland. In fact, let's just bring them out. There they are. They'll activate as Western Europeans, and we'll bring in all these infantry from Norway as well as the armor. We'll bring in these 4 infantry from Karelia. And yeah, we'll bring in this fighter. And we'll bring in, yeah, I forgot to bring in this Polish fighter. So he'll go here, sorry, 1 into the Baltic Sea and then into Finland. This is the stuff I do off screen. Okay. Yugoslavia is going to just get crushed by these infantry, so we're going to move 5, 9, just pile them up, why not? The Greek infantry, yeah, the infantry garrisoned in Greece. 17. We're also going to move in 2 armors, and that should dispose of those 2 fellows in a single round of combat. We'll take this heavy armor, he moves into Ukraine, Georgia, and then into Iran. They can move 3. Everything in Turkey moves into Iran. And everything in Turkmenistan and Georgia does the same. And now we'll bring out the Iranian army. We'll activate those as British. 2 infantry and armor and a fighter. I'm going to split off 2 of these fighters, and they're going to hit. 2 are going to hit Iran, and 1 is going to fly to Urel, Karelia, and then jump in on Finland. Again, we're just trying to spread the love and get everything, all the bad guys or good guys, whatever side. To me, they're bad guys, but we want to kill everybody in a single round of combat, essentially, and that's the goal. And then this is, I was trying to talk myself out of this, but I'm going to send the sub out and we'll engage in a round of combat. See. I don't know. I'll throw a dice. I'll have the Americans throw a dice if I miss, and if I'm still alive, I'll just go back into the Baltic Sea. So, you've got a sub and surprise strike ability. Why not? It's going to get blasted by, you know, probably blasted by some kind of air power. But the reason I like to go for NATO ships is because you're prepping for nuclear war. Eventually the Soviets will get the nuke, and eventually they should buy one or more of these things. And there's enough boats to absorb a nuke or even two nukes. So, you know, just even removing one now is can help cut into other things later. Okay, so we'll just start with the this North Sea fight. We roll one dice, and if we miss, the Americans roll. We miss, so the Americans will roll. Okay. Miss. Okay, and now the attacker chooses to withdraw, so that's how that works. And I hope it's obvious why I did that. Well, in case you didn't know, the straight rules protect us a little bit here, and at least from the surface ships. And, you know, we're further away from the enemy, absorbing more movement if they want to come kill us. And if we stayed there, the US sub would be able to displace, so, or submerge or whatever. So we don't want to give them any options. Moving on. We'll do Yugoslavia next. Again, the rest of everything here is pretty much written in stone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Yeah, they're dead, and they shoot back. 2 infantry. And they pick up a kill. NATO moves, sorry, NATO moves down 2, and Russia moves up 2. Okay, we're going to do Finland next. Again, this is something like 90% wiping everybody out on the first round. So 9 infantry, 4 3 attackers, and 1 bomber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're all dead, and they roll 3 back, and they all miss. The Soviets move up a single IPC. We'll now do Iran, and then actually let's just nug out the no, let's do Iran. 17 infantry, 4 3 attackers, and 2 4 attackers. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're all dead. So we'll delete these. 2, 3 at 2, and 1 at 4. And the defense here has a slightly higher than even probability of inflicting 2 hits, and they inflict 2 hits. So we'll remove those 2 and adjust the IPC tracker. Here we are. And finally, we have the Japan Sea Zone. This 2 fighters going at us at 1 sub, and this is just a 75% chance between 2 3 attackers, and then it's over. There's nothing else. So that's it, just 2 fighters. And aha! Sad. Okay, this is probably the most complicated phase, but we're gonna get through it. First, I think we're gonna go ahead and push all the standard armor into Yugoslavia. I'll just pile them all up here. Okay. And this heavy armor in Poland goes 1 into Ukraine. Okay. And then the heavy armor that was in Turkey goes 1, 2, 3. So there's 2 heavy armors in Ukraine. The fighters went 1, so they'll go 2 to there. I don't know. I'll move them later. Let me think. And see, this bomber has to go here. We know that. These pieces are staying here. And one of these fighters has to go to Krylia. This infantry from Belarus comes up. I think I want at least 2 fighters in here. So there's one more to decide on. I'll come back to him momentarily. These 4 infantry in East Germany go to Poland. Excuse me. I don't know what to do with the infantry in Ukraine just yet, so we'll come back to them. Kazakhstan moves to Xinjiang. Mongolia moves to Xinjiang. Okay. These 2 armors move to Eastern Siberia. This infantry from Kamchatka moves to Eastern Siberia. These 3 infantry and armor fall back. I'm actually going to split off 1 infantry and bring him into North Korea as well. So there's 4-1 there right now. One of these fighters moves to Manchuria. One of these fighters moves to Eastern Siberia. And we're setting up our defense of the eastern border. This submarine is actually going to stay in place and thereby forbid this transport and this battleship from participating in any combat movement activity against Kamchatka or Eastern Siberia. Okay, still a few more decisions to make here. Before I forget, we need to move this AA gun back into Moscow because now there's a bomber in range. Pakistan can bomb our industrial complex. We need to cover it. I think I'm going to move these 3 into Georgia. Yeah. This fighter moves into Ukraine. The one off of Finland. The Iranian fighters will move into Ukraine. So it's 3 there, 2 there, 2 in the east, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's everybody. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll reserve the right to go back and make a tweak here or a tweak there after I do place units, but let's go ahead and do that. And first thing we'll do is we'll put our Soviet spy into position here. Yeah, and then let's first start with the obvious. So what we're going to do now is put blockers in each of the territories that we essentially abandoned. These are frontline territories that will appear to be defenseless or nearly that with this single infantry, but none of these territories have an empty adjacent unit. It's what I call hedgehogging, where you stack up big armies adjacent to territories that basically only have a blocker. For West Germany, we'll put 2, just because it's a higher value, so we want to force the commitment of more troops and assets to remove that second piece. And, well, before I go crazy, where else do we have this situation? Komi, yes. Yeah, let's put 1 in South Korea. Yeah, we shouldn't ignore this over here. Let's drop 2 here. Yes, we want to max off the Eastern Siberia. Yes, let's put 1 here. Just prevent paratroopers if nothing else. Yeah, just because I'm nervous about this area of the board. For now, I think this looks good. We need a blocker in Turkmenistan. Oh, we need anti-paratrooper stuff going on over here because the British can reach from Italy. We need 1 in Romania. Hell, technically, yeah, I guess there's 1 in Arel too, that the Western European bomber could do that. And for that matter, Kazakhstan, 1, 2, 3. The Urals? Are you kidding me? Oh, this is ridiculous. We have to put 1 in Russia because that's our capital for the same reason. And now I'm out of troops. So no, this is not acceptable. We need to pull from somewhere. I don't think Arel actually needs 1 because it would require the entire movement of the bomber, and we're putting a ton of pressure on Pakistan. So 1, 2, 3. I don't think there's any safe landing place. So Arel transfers. By that same token, the Urals is probably okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to adjust a bit here. So I'm going to pull these two builds off and go back to the NCM. And these three fellows are going to have to go to Belarus, Romania, and Georgia. I'm also going to change the movement of the heavy armor that was in Poland that sat this out. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 and post in Russia. Okay, so I've got 2 left to place. I think I'll post 1 in Mongolia. No. We'll post both of them in Karelia. I'll just reposition this infantry from Baikal to Mongolia. And you'll go here. Okay. And I'll just move this fellow to Ukraine. Okay. Final answer, I promise. Okay, that kind of tidied things up, and we're going to go ahead, collect income, and end this turn. I made a couple of, so I haven't collected income yet, but I was staring at the map for way too long and then made some adjustments to the non-combat moves, mostly with this armor. Instead of moving them and stacking them in Yugoslavia, I don't think there's, yeah, I displaced them. Our collect income, I believe, is 64, plus the 4 from China is 68, plus the 1 IPC we have left over makes 69. Okay, my final adjustments have been made, and that's it. This was Soviet 2. It's a 20-minute video, but this took a lot longer than 20 minutes. I'm cooked. Thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.